Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me again. Nice day again. Bit of a sunny glint around and it's really warm. So hopefully it's a sign of things to come. Well, I'm doing this video really about YouTubers and the perception of YouTubers. Because I brought a video out and I had a lot of people going off topic. And what they were talking about, they were saying, have you seen the news about Paul Thor, Danny and Richard? I thought, oh yeah. So I thought I'd investigate. I mean, I've been on Paul Thorpe's show before, just the once, and I've had a bit of contact with Paul Thorpe. And I'm aware of what they do politically and what they get themselves involved in politically. And all of a sudden, the three of them have turned around and said, we're no longer going to be involved in politics. We're not going to be doing that sort of stuff anymore on YouTube. We're done. Now, if one of them said it, that would be something. But then two of them said it, and then all of them said it in very quick succession. I don't believe in coincidences. That's my initial reaction to it. So I thought, what's going on here? So I had to listen to all of their videos. And the one that particularly struck me was the one that Paul Thorpe recorded. I'll leave a link in the description so you can go and watch it. And it was entitled Part 1 of, you know, his audience deserves an explanation. And to be honest, when you look at the video, he looked tired, he looked drawn, he looked stressed. You know, I don't know the guy, but, well, we've met once, shaken hands, and that was in London at a Tommy rally. I nearly ended up in McDonald's with him, if it wasn't for the fact I had to go and see Paz. Well, I'm a taxi driver, so I can read people, put it that way. Now, the fact that three of them have said the same thing, it's quite obvious that something in the background has happened. We'll come to that in a minute. Something has happened which has given them pause. Either a life event or something involving their political involvement or something else. I just get the distinct impression that somebody has lent on one of them and it's made the other two think, this isn't good, or somebody has lent on all three of them. They got involved with a lot of stuff politically, discussing the direction they think that this country should go in. I mean, on that we agree. I think slightly differently to them. I'm probably more of a nationalist, as in English nationalist, than, you know, thinking about the union, but that's by the by. And they were very big about the pledge and, you know, everything that went with that. And all of a sudden, bang, stop. Now, a lot of people are going to be very disappointed by what has come out, what was said. I'll be interested to see Danny's take on it, see what happens, and then we'll go from there. You know, people are looking for hope, and you know, when you follow people like Paul and Danny and Richard and, you know, see them doing things, people hope that change will follow. As I said at the beginning of this video, something has happened. I will never ask out of respect. I never expect to be told, because at the end of the day, it's none of my business. There's a whole number of things it could be, and there's one or two things it may well turn out to be, but, you know, they will tell what they will tell. But it's more than obvious. As I said, I don't believe in coincidences. Now, YouTube itself can be funny. You know, there's literally millions of channels on YouTube. Some are a hobby, some are an outright business, and then you get other channels on YouTube which create content just to create division and anger and incitement. You know, they spend their days lying about other YouTubers with regard to making content. It's not a great area when you run a YouTube channel like that. But it's a whole myriad, and behind those YouTube channels we all have different backgrounds, very different backgrounds. We come from all walks of life, and the main thing is, when you build up a following, people really build up a level of trust with you, and they want to go with what you say, take your advice, agree with your opinion, disagree, whatever it happens to be, and people can get very passionate. You know, this community here, I can see it being 150,000 subscribers after not too long. We're heading in that direction pretty quickly. Built up over 5 years. And all I've ever tried to be is straightforward and honest, straight down the line. And if anybody tries to look or dish up any dirt on me, you're never going to find it, because there isn't any. But the same can't be said for other YouTubers. There's loads of recorded examples in the news about other YouTubers who have had a run-in with the law, ended up in prison or something like that. You never know what you're dealing with. I suppose the best advice I could give is, before you become involved, always do your due diligence. I mean, there are many tools out there now where you can do a rapid amount of research very quickly on a person, a group of people, whatever it happens to be, and find out whether they're worth getting involved with. Because if later on down the line, say you have someone on your show and they end up being of questionable character, then it's you that's going to look them up it. So always do your due diligence. But you know, YouTube is, to me, a game changer, because it allowed me a platform, or allowed me a forum where I could have my say and, you know, get it off my chest. That's how it started, and then it built and built and built, and I've made a few great friends on YouTube. That's one of the good things about it. I've fallen out with people on YouTube, I've made up with people on YouTube, and you have this underbelly where people just want to wind up other people for the hell of it. It's, you know, really diverse thing across there. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination having a go at anybody about anything at all. Far be it for me to do that. It's just observations about YouTube as a whole. But with everything you read and everything you hear on YouTube, everybody has a past. And, you know, people latch onto it. People will, you know, try and weaponize it. People will try and talk. People will try and do whatever they can to make you look as much of a prat as possible. I've had my own experience with this several times, in fact, over the last few years. And it's very important that you trust your friends very carefully. And it's very important that you always think about who you get involved with, what you choose to believe, and where it goes from there. As I say, it's a minefield. A bit of a waffly one, this, granted, but I just wanted to mention the Paul, Danny and Richard situation. Just give you a little bit of my 2 penny worth too. Anyway, thank you for watching this. As always, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.